Welcome to Nasdaq Trade Talks. I'm Jill Malandrino, global markets reporter at Nasdaq. With so many people working and learning from home, powering our smart homes and keeping us connected is more important than ever. Joining me to discuss is Fahri Diner, CEO of Plume. Fahri, it's great to have you with us. Welcome to Trade Talks.
Thank you very much, Jill. Good to be here with you as well.
Thank you. And tell us more about Plume. What was the genesis behind the company?
Let me give you a quick sense of who we are and what we're doing, and I'll give you the overall intent as well. In a nutshell, Plume we're a cloud software company in the TMT sector. So we offer a cloud platform for large and small operators. So think of them as Comcast, AT&T, T-Mobile. Either fixed line operators, they can be cable companies or mobile operators. The dynamic in that TMT sector is that the traditional bundle they have, voice, video, and data, is unbundling, which is a problem for that sector because it leads to loss of revenue. ARPU is decreasing, and their churn goes up as people subscribe to fewer services. So the dynamic in that space right now is people are not really looking for voice lines. Video is largely coming over the top via things like Netflix and so on. So people just want internet. That's fine. That's a growth area for these operators, but the propensity to churn goes up if you're only subscribing to one service. So Jill, I speak with the CEOs and senior executives of practically, many of these very large leading operators. One category that they're looking at for growth and retention is the smart home. Smart home is an opportunity for them to offer new services inside the home, not only for growth, but also retaining their customers, as I mentioned. And that is the category that we play in. Plume is the leader in that smart home sector. We provide a platform that enables these operators to curate, to deliver, to support, to manage, and operate the smart home services. The smart home services that the modern consumer is looking for are things like reliable connectivity with awesome, reliable Wi-Fi in every corner of the home. They're looking for secure access controls, give access to certain devices for guests. Parental controls is an area that's growing quite fast. The parents are concerned about their children. Things like device security is becoming very, very important. Think of securing cheap cameras and doorbells and so on. A lot of times the attackers come through those devices that have tremendous vulnerabilities to get into our computers and devices like that. So securing those devices is very key. People are interested in things like motion sensing, using Wi-Fi signals that triggers a number of applications, things like personalized automation in the home, things like offering services for the aging population. There are a lot of things that as the baby boomers are getting older and so on, there are a number of services. Things like energy management. So in a nutshell, those are the kind of the collection of smart home services that exist today. And smart home today, Jill, is a bit different than what people used to refer to them. It's more than just your alarm system calling the police automatically when a window is broken. So that's in a nutshell, what Plume is all about. Our customers include the largest fixed line operators in the US, namely Comcast is the largest ISP in the US, is using Plume to offer their smart home services. So is Charter Communications, the Spectrum brand, which is the second largest carrier. Largest ISP in Canada, Bell Canada uses Plume for that. In Europe, we are with Liberty Global and Vodafone, two of the largest operators, fixed line operators in Europe. Liberty Global owns brands like Virgin Media in the UK. They are in the Netherlands. They're in Belgium and other places in Switzerland. And the largest cable company in Japan, JCOM, uses Plume to offer 80 or so customers around the globe, and that's growing about 100% year over year. And to give you a sense of the scale of the business, we are serving about 20 million households today around the globe. That means 20 million households are using Plume enabled and Plume curated smart home services. And we see hundreds of millions of connected devices. These are unique devices like your iPhones and computers and so on.
Yeah, and Fahri, as you were mentioning before, certainly many of these trends were in place, but with COVID-19 and our homes are also our offices and schools now, I would imagine it's important for consumers more than ever.
It is. Our belief is, COVID-19 has been, from a business perspective, has provided a significant tailwinds for us. We think the work from home movement is here to stay, and reliable connectivity and security and additional value added services in the home is going to, it has been the core, it will remain that way. And that's kind of fueling our growth. Plume from a financial perspective, both our top line and ARR has been growing 100% year over year over the last 3 years. And I expect these tailwinds to help us. And in general, anyway, over the next, let's say, foreseeable future, I definitely would expect continued strong growth. The other thing I'll say that might be relevant for your audience here is we also have very high gross margins, the way we monetize these services, which gives us the opportunity to heavily invest both in R&D and sales and marketing. R&D to stay innovative. We're a nerdy company, I like to say. We're usually first to market with many of these services. And sales and marketing to expand our footprint. In summary, I'd say, this personalized smart home, you can think of it as smart home 2.0, if you will, is the next big play. It's not just for the operators, but also the internet giants like Google, Amazon, Apple. They're all trying to come in and land in our living room. Whereas the operators have the router, internet giants are trying to come in with smart speakers to start controlling the home. So net, it's a massive battleground. It's a massive opportunity for retention and growth for both of those constituents. And luckily for us, Plume sits at the intersection of all of this, for both constituents to enable this. And who wins at the end of the day is the consumer, like you and I. So it's some exciting times, I think.
And I would agree with you. And certainly many of those components are in my home as well. But you brought up a great point. Strong Wi-Fi connection is one thing, but it really comes down to the data and the experience that's really going to drive the growth and what's available for consumers going forward. I mean, it seems like we're still in the very early innings of this.
We are, and I think the industry needs to focus on providing these seamless experiences rather than just products. And a seamless experience includes not only the front-end service that the consumer sees, but also the back-end tools and capabilities and analytics for whoever is offering that service to be able to support and manage and predictively control and react to certain issues for the consumer, because the consumer is looking for this overall experience. So data is the secret weapon there. Data coming from one service needs to be treated in the context of another service, and data is the common denominator that feeds all of these services as well as the back-end tools. So that's really the new frontier, and Plume is in an advantageous position at this point because we think we are currently operating the world's largest software-defined network in this category, and our growth is accelerating. So customers around the globe benefit from our learnings that we get from other customers around the globe. So that's I think is the ultimate moat for our company, and we're leaning into that pretty heavily.
All right, Fahri, it was great to have you with us. Thanks for joining me on Trade Talks.
Thank you, Jill.
And thanks for joining me. I'm Jill Malandrino, Global Markets Reporter at Nasdaq.